GMs for Hire.
Welcome back to GMs for Hire. I'm Matthew Perry. With me this evening is RJ Strope and Jamil King, and we are back with some more football news. And things are going wrong in Houston, and Deshaun Watson has been very open about his exit. He has officially requested a trade. He did this a couple of days ago, and RJ, Jamil, and I, we just kind of wanted to bring our thoughts on the matter and kind of go through the potential landing spots for Deshaun Watson. We'll jump right into it. We'll start with the New York Jets. They have a new head coach, Robert Saleh. Definitely a bigger market. Definitely some reasons for him to go. RJ, I'll start with you. Why would Deshaun Watson want to go to the Jets, and do you think he should?
That's a great question. Why would Deshaun Watson want to go to the Jets? Literally, I hope one of you two can tell me, because I have sat here and I've thought about this for a couple of days. We've been talking about doing this video now for a couple of days, and I still cannot think of one reason why Deshaun Watson would want to play for the New York Jets. Now, we know that report came out a couple of days ago about Deshaun Watson's preferred destinations being the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins. Why would Deshaun Watson want to be a New York Jet? If somebody can sell me on the New York Jets for Deshaun Watson, I'm all ears. Please let me know. Yes, they just hired a new coach, Robert Saleh. He's a defensive guy. That's really not going to, impact Deshaun Watson's game. They don't have a consistent running game in New York. Their running back is Frank Gore, who I'm pretty sure played with Jesus at one time. Their number one wide receiver is Brashad Perryman. That guy isn't a number two anywhere else, but he's the number one on the Jets. They don't have a consistent tight end. Their offensive line isn't good. Their defense isn't good. What? This report where that was a preferred destination for Deshaun Watson, what are you trying to sell me on? New York? Like, is that what you're saying? Like, Deshaun wants to be in New York and wants to be a big star and all that? I'm not buying that, because Green Bay, Wisconsin is the smallest market in the NFL, and Aaron Rodgers is on every State Farm commercial, every commercial break during an NFL game. Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City, Missouri, that's not a huge market, and Mahomes is on every commercial. He's the face of the NFL. You don't need these big markets like a LA or like a New York to become a star. If you're a starting quarterback in the NFL and a really good one like Deshaun Watson is, you can be a star anywhere. So this notion about a preferred destination being the Jets, somebody's going to have to sell me on it, because I don't see it.
Jamil, do you think there's any upside of Deshaun Watson joining the Jets? Do you think they really have anything to offer besides maybe Saleh, who, as RJ did mention, is a defensive based coach?
Yeah, I honestly don't hate the fact that Deshaun want to go to the Jets. If you want to go there and turn this team around, there's some reasons that he can't go do it. For starters, Robert Saleh, he is a defensive coach, but to me in the NFL, it really doesn't matter if you're offensive or defensive-minded coach. What matters is your coordinators. If you don't know your coordinators, you're not going to be good in the NFL. Just look at a lot of teams around the league. But he came and he brought Mike LaFleur from the Niners. The Niners have had a successful offense for the past 3 seasons. RJ, you did mention that they don't have anything at tight end. They don't have anything at running back. That's something the Niners did have. So, if Deshaun Watson were to come to the New York Jets, I think when you get your quarterback in place, now you have to get the things around him in place. The Jets have the second most cap in the NFL going into the offseason. Obviously, they're going to use a lot of their draft capital to get Deshaun Watson if this trade were to go through. But I still think in day 2 and day 3, you can go out and find successful players to be on this football team to surround Watson with. You can get a running back in the draft. You can attack the receiver and free agency and tight end. They went ahead and went heavily on offensive line last season, be it free agency and the draft. So I think automatically, if you were to come here, you have the chance to. You already have a better line than you did in Houston. Your running back game, if you can get a guy in the second round like a Najee Harris or a Travis Etienne, if they don't go in the first round, then you're already better off a running back than you were in Houston, if you ask me. And then receiver, obviously that's a stretch over there with Perriman and Mims. It's not looking good. I agree with you over there in that aspect. But obviously it's not a 1 year fix either. I think you give this team a year with Deshaun Watson at the helm, with all the money this team has. I think they could potentially do something if he were to come here.
RJ, if the Jets were to acquire Deshaun Watson, do you think that will affect who they pick in the draft?
I mean, yeah, if you get somebody of Deshaun Watson's caliber, you better build around him. What you don't want to do is have a generational talent like a Deshaun Watson and waste him. And that's what the Texans have done the last couple of years. And that's what you don't want to do if you're the Jets. You mentioned the draft. It is very deep at running back this year. As a North Carolina fan, I know we sent 2 good running backs and 2 good wide receivers to the draft. Maybe New York could, take some of that. But yeah, you absolutely would have to build around Deshaun because that guy is special. He is one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the National Football League. If you have him on your team, you have to build around him because there's really no excuse. Like, the most important position maybe in all of sports is starting quarterback for a National Football League team. And you have one of the 5 best. Now the pressure's on you as a general manager and as a coach. Build around him because I don't want to hear any excuses.
Yeah, one thing about the Jets, if you go and get Deshaun Watson, you go immediately from a team in a full rebuild to a team that's competing. And then you go from competing to winning mode. When you get a guy like this, your trajectory as a franchise completely changes.
Jamil, and we'll wrap things up with the Jets here, but real quick, if you could put together a trade package that if you're the Jets, you think can bring Watson over, what would that be?
Starts with the number 2 pick in the draft, continues with the number 26 pick, whatever the Seahawks pick is, Sam Darnold, and probably another at least first or second round pick next year. I think that's what it would take to get Deshaun Watson there. That's at least what they would have to trade.
RJ?
Yeah, no, I agree. You definitely send Sam Darnold out, and probably, they have 2 first-round picks this year, and do they have 2 next year or just 1? Maybe just 1.
I'm not
like
100% sure next year. I think they still
definitely give up your first-round pick for next year. Also, I will say, this Deshaun Watson preferred destination, Jets and Dolphins. I don't agree with that. I think the Texans' preferred destinations would be the Jets and Dolphins because I think those are the 2 teams that can give the Texans the best deal. So I think we need to, check our report here. Deshaun might not necessarily want to go to the Jets. The Texans probably want to send him there, though, because they know they can get a guy in Sam Darnold who some people still like, and you can get multiple first-round picks. So there's a big difference between if the Texans want to trade him there or if Deshaun Watson wants to be traded there.
Well, from the busy city of New York, we'll move down south to the warm beaches of Miami. We'll move to the Dolphins, who are also noted to be one of the teams in the run for Deshaun Watson. Obviously, they have Tua still, and Ryan Fitzpatrick, I believe, is still under contract. He might be a free agent now. I could be wrong. But definitely some quarterback issues there. Very uncertain on where they're going. So, Jamil, I'll start with you. Why do you think Deshaun Watson could fit with the Dolphins?
I personally would love this trade for both parties. To me, the Dolphins are one of the most up-and-coming teams in the league. They have one of the best head coaches in the league right now. Their defense is absolutely phenomenal. And if you can go from the aging veteran Ryan Fitzpatrick and a struggling rookie Tua Tagovailoa and come a game within making the playoffs, if you can replace them with a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, I think that this team goes above and beyond. I think they're easily up there with the Bills to compete for the East crown, the AFC. I think they easily can fight for wild card positions in the AFC for years to come if they do this. As I said about their defense, it's absolutely stifling. It's a great defense. On offense, they struggle this year. If you compare their offense with the Texans, to me, they're kind of comparable. You have Parker and Williams on the outside. I think what he had in Houston was better, but the problem with his pieces in Houston is they're always hurt. Will Fuller is great, but Will Fuller is only giving you 7 games a season. Cooks is great as a speed guy, but he also was hurt a lot last season. I think if you can bring him over the Dolphins, I think that this team just shoots above and beyond.
RJ, thoughts on the Dolphins?
I think this team that's the best trade partner for the Houston Texans. Tua Tagovailoa, I really think we've forgotten how good he was at Alabama. I understand he kind of struggled at times this year, and he didn't really look great. But we really have to kind of take 2020 with a grain of salt. Here's a guy that dislocated his hip or whatever. He was really messed up. He got hurt bad, and he had no offseason. He had really no time to get acclimated with being in the NFL, with new teammates, with rehabbing, this and that, because of COVID. When you look at the offseason that Tua had, like, I'm not about to kill this man just because he didn't look like Andrew Luck in his first year. Like, this guy was so good in college. And I know it doesn't always translate to the pros, but this kid can be really good still. And so, yes, if you're Miami and if you can get a guy like Deshaun Watson, I think you should probably make the trade. But I just think you might be giving up on Tua way too early. Like, yeah, Deshaun's better than Tua, but it comes down to the trade also. You're going to have to give up draft picks. And again, you were talking about the weapons in Miami and you don't really like them. Well, how are you going to build around Deshaun then? Like, you need all those draft picks. You killed Houston in the draft. You took all their draft picks. Now you're going to trade them back to Houston? Like, no, you need to keep those draft picks, build around Tua, and I think Miami will be fine. Like, I think getting Deshaun is big because he's so good, but, like, I think it honestly might be a little unnecessary for them. Like, I still think Tua can be a very good quarterback. I think with the amount of draft capital they have, they can put some really nice pieces around him. They already have a good defense and a great head coach. I think trading for Deshaun would just be such a overreaction, honestly.
Obviously, sorry, Jamil, just want to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, my problem with what the Dolphins did with Tua this year was you could tell before the season started, they had a premeditated plan on when they were going to plug him in. And when they decided to plug him in, that team was riding hot. I don't think they should have took out Ryan Fitzpatrick when they decided to insert Tua into the lineup. And then after that, you saw it was just going back and forth between the two. And I think that really stunted a little bit of Tua's growth. And I think it stunted a little bit of the team's growth.
Yeah, absolutely.
For every team, obviously, though, there's a time and place where you have to go into a win now mode. Jamil, I'll ask you this. Do you think the Dolphins have the time to wait on Tua to see if he grows into the elite quarterback he could be? Or do you think they need to get into a win now mode? And obviously doing that with Deshaun Watson would be ideal. But basically, do you think they have the time to wait on Tua?
That's a really good question. I like the way you frame that. But, that's the question is you have this team right now. You have such a great defense. It's not like these guys are all 22 and 23 years old. These guys are in their primes at 20, 26, 28 through 28 years old. So, you don't want to wait too long for Tua to develop. And I think that's the big thing right there is do you wait to see what Tua is going to do? Like let's say RJ, they keep these draft picks, they go and get Devontae Smith, his former Alabama teammate. And let's say you do all this, you give him the guys and he still struggles next year. Then hindsight's 2020, you're kicking yourself. But that's the thing. Do you run the risk of that or do you go get the for sure thing? And if I'm the Dolphins, I would say, why not? We saw what Tua did. I don't know if they liked it or not. I'm not in the front office, but if you can go get the for sure guy, I think you go get the for sure guy if you have the capability.
Absolutely, but it still comes down to what is he going to be working with? Like now you've given up those draft picks to where you can't go give Deshaun Devontae Smith now, and you can't go get him a good running back, which I think they should do with their pick in the 20s. Like I think you have the picks to build around Tua, but if you give up Tua and the picks, now you have Deshaun with a bunch of all right, mediocre guys, and Deshaun had that in Houston. So what's the difference? You're in South Beach now instead of Houston because it's the same team, except Miami has a better defense.
RJ, we'll stay with you. You're in the general manager seat for the Miami Dolphins. What is your trade package that you would submit to the Houston Texans for Deshaun Watson?
Well, honestly, I feel like Houston has the leverage. Like they have the prize. It's Deshaun. Like you want Deshaun, you're going to have to come get him from me. So if I'm Houston, I want Tua. I want the number 3 pick because that was supposed to be our pick. And yeah, I want my pick back. I probably want the pick that, the Dolphins have. What is it, like 19 or 20? And I'll probably take like a 1 or a 2 for next year. Like I have Deshaun Watson. I have Michael Jordan. If you want him, you're going to have to pay me. Like I'm not going to give this man away. I don't care. Like I want Tua and 3 first-round picks. Basically the same as the Jets. I wanted Sam Darnold and 3 first-round picks.
Jamil?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I think that that's what it's going to take to get him for any team. And I think that that's the biggest difference between the two teams we just discussed and the teams we're going to talk about in a little bit is that they not only have the picks, they have the first round picks and they have the young quarterback to send back to the Texans that these other teams don't have.
Yeah.
We will move right to Carolina. I'm excited to hear RJ's take on this. The Teddy Bridgewater era did not really work out in Charlotte, and things definitely need to change for the Panthers. They've lacked a solid quarterback for a couple of years. Cam Newton, of course, had injury issues towards the end of his stint there, and things haven't been the same since. RJ, I'll start with you. Let's hear your thoughts on Deshaun Watson to the Panthers.
I'll cry.
I was just about to say RJ will cry.
I'll cry. This makes all the sense in the world. Obviously, I'm biased, but the thing that I've said about these other teams is they're not ready to win. Those teams don't have a lot for Deshaun to work with. The Jets and the Dolphins, their offenses are not very good. They don't have any toys for Deshaun Watson to play with. They need the draft picks to get the toys, but without giving up the draft picks, they can't get Deshaun. So they're kind of in a bad situation. Do you go get Deshaun with no toys, or do you go get the toys for the quarterback you already got? Carolina has got toys. Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in football. I know he was injured this year, but I don't forget what he did the year before. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, that is a very solid wide receiver duo. They have young studs on defense. They had 2 rookies last year, Derek Brown and Jeremy Chin, that were on the all-rookie team. Like, this is a team that's coming. Matt Rule is a great young head coach. I think every executive around the league likes him now. I mean, you see what he's doing at the Senior Bowl right now. People are really getting to see how good of a coach Matt Rule is. Carolina, just give up the draft picks. You already have the weapons for Deshaun. Now just give up the draft picks. Yeah, it'd be nice if we had the draft picks, but we already have the weapons. So we don't need the draft picks to get the weapons because we already have the weapons. So, yeah, I'm biased. Yeah, I want him to come to Carolina, but this is perfect. This would literally be perfect. And I'm sorry, let's look around the division. Atlanta doesn't know what they're going to do as far as quarterback or as far as anything. New Orleans is about $100 million over the salary cap, and Tampa Bay has a 43-year-old quarterback. I know he wants to play till he's 45, but you never know. If Deshaun Watson is in Carolina with Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, and Robbie Anderson, you better pay attention because this division just got very, very interesting. So I think Carolina makes a ton of sense. Obviously, I hope it does. But they even have the aggressive owner. This new owner, David Tepper, since he has shown up in Charlotte, all he's done is change everything and make the team his. He fires the best head coach we've ever had, Ron Rivera, because he wants to get his own guy in. He gets rid of the best quarterback we've ever had, Cam Newton, because he wants to get his own guy in. He didn't want to pay Cam 18, but he gave Teddy 20, whatever. He moves the practice facility from Charlotte to Rock Hill, South Carolina, taking the team out of Charlotte. And they're still going to play their home games there, but their practice facility is moving out of the city. This is an aggressive owner that just wants to win, and he wants to do it his way. Well, Mr. Tepper, I've been very vocal about the job I think you're doing. You go get Deshaun Watson, I'll shut up.
Jamil, are you as high on the Panthers being a good fit as RJ is?
Yeah, I think Watson would be a great fit on this team from a football perspective. Obviously, he's going to come in. You get a top 8 quarterback in the league, arguably top 5. That automatically makes your team better. Like I said about both the other two teams, but like RJ said, the difference between this team is they have better options on the offense. You know, you give him McCaffrey, you give him Moore, you give him Anderson, potentially keep Samuel. This would be a really dangerous offense. But the problem is, how do you get it done? The Panthers, unlike these other teams, don't have these high picks. They don't have these young quarterbacks to send over to the Houston Texans. So at this point, it's either going to cost you your whole draft or players off your active roster. So at that point, it's who are you willing to get rid of off your roster, who the Texans want, and are you willing to give up a majority of your draft?
I personally, I do actually have a take on this one. I think it'd be a perfect fit. I think out of these 4 teams that we're looking at today, the Panthers would be the best fit. I think they're the most ready. Our next team might be a little more ready, actually, but they're currently shopping in search of a quarterback that, we'll get into in a second. That's not Deshaun Watson. But RJ, you made some great points. I do think the Panthers have what it takes to surround Watson, definitely more than the Jets, maybe more than the Dolphins. I'm pretty sure more than the Dolphins. And you made great points about the NFC South, which quarterback situations for those teams are very uncertain, as you mentioned. So I personally think the Panthers are the best fit, but who knows? Deshaun Watson might not think so. The Texans might not get the right package for it. But like you said, just get rid of the picks. Speaking of that, I'll just get your trade package now, RJ.
If I'm the Carolina Panthers, let me start. I love the draft. I'm a big college football guy. I love the draft. I think draft picks are very valuable. I would never want to trade picks. But the fact that I'm about to do this shows you how much I love Deshaun Watson. I would give up the first rounder this year, which is number 8 overall. I would give up my first round pick next year, my first round pick in 2023, and I want to give you Shaq Thompson, who is a starting linebacker in the NFL. He's a really good linebacker. He's not, elite. He's not a Levante David or Bobby Wagner, but that's a guy that's going to start day one in Houston. He's really good. But by giving you all that, I'm also going to have to give you Teddy Bridgewater because I need that contract off my books so I can use that money to re-sign Curtis Samuel. But yeah, 3 first-round picks, Shaq Thompson, who would start for Houston, obviously, and I got to give you Teddy because I got to get rid of that contract.
Yeah, you saying Shaq honestly surprised me. I didn't think you were going to add him in there, but yeah, he's a quality linebacker and definitely a worthy piece for their defense. I don't know if they'd want to take on Bridgewater's contract. That's another story, but yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
I'm giving you 3 first-round picks and a starting linebacker. Like, just eat this $20 million for me. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth it. I like that one. Jamil, your thoughts? Your trade package?
Yeah, obviously you have to give to get in this league, and that would obviously be a lofty thing. I definitely think for the Panthers, if you're going to give up someone on your roster, I think that Thompson would be a good one. The Texans would want, but as picks wise, yeah, it's going to take at least 3 to 4 first-round picks, 3 first-round picks minimum. They're going to throw in a couple of day 2s, I think, or second-round picks, not day 2. Well, yeah, day 2 picks now. Forgot the draft keeps changing.
All right, and we will move to our 4th and final team, that being the San Francisco 49ers. They are currently in the mix for Matthew Stafford, who has recently, just as recent as Deshaun Watson, basically said he's done with Detroit. He's ready to move on. He's been with the team since 2009, I want to say. He's got to be up there in their franchise leader when it comes to
I think he leads in everything.
Quarterback stats. Yeah, he's been their guy for quite some time now. So it's a little bit of the end of an era in Detroit. Better era than Carolina's Bridgewater era, definitely. But the 49ers. Jamil, I'll start with you. I know you're pretty big on them. Thoughts on Watson going there?
Yeah, this right here, I think is the biggest long shot, but it's the best fit to me. Before the offseason started, I said for the Niners to get back to the Super Bowl, to be a team that can make it to the Super Bowl, they had to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. And the 2 quarterbacks I want them to get was, if it was in the draft, I want them to get Zach Wilson. If it was free agency, or a trade, I want them to get Stafford. But if they could get Deshaun Watson, obviously he's better than all 3 of those guys. Watson brings what Zach Wilson and Matthew Stafford brings to the table. Strong arm, athletic guy, been in the league for a while, can win. I think he's the perfect fit for this offense to run with Kyle Shanahan. We know they want to run the football. They're going to run with all their running backs. They have some great guys on the outside in Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. Now the problem is, how do you get them in there? Obviously, it's going to cost you a lot of picks. And for a team that's in definitely win now mode, I think it would be smart for them to do it. But the question is, would you do it when you have other options for a lesser price?
RJ?
Yeah, I agree. If this were to happen, if Deshaun Watson were to be a San Francisco 49er, I think they're a lot to win the Super Bowl. I think this team is absolutely loaded. This defense is disgusting. Kyle Shanahan is an absolute magician on offense. If you actually gave him Deshaun Watson with like Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and the whole stable of running backs they have, it would be disgusting. Like, San Francisco would win the next 2 or 3 Super Bowls, and I would bet every penny I have on it. Like, it would be disgusting. It would honestly be unfair. But you mentioned, how do you get them? San Francisco, doesn't have the luxury, if you want to call it that, of having a top 10 pick this year. The other 3 teams have top 10 picks. San Francisco's sitting back at what, like 15, something like that? Like, now that you're not offering as good of a pick, you're going to have to give up more picks. So, yeah, now that's when you get into like maybe 3 firsts and 3 seconds. Like, you don't even have top 2 picks now for the next 3 years if you're the 49ers. Like, because the Texans have to get a good deal here. You can't give away Deshaun for nothing. So this one probably is the biggest stretch because of where San Francisco is drafting this year. So it would be gross if it happened, though.
Many people forget that the Niners were in the Super Bowl last year, and besides this subpar season, due to a lot of injuries, they still have everybody for the most part from that Super Bowl team. And obviously Watson would be a much better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo. Stafford, I think, could definitely help too. I'll ask this as like a side note. Do you think the 49ers will be any worse, or do you think they can recover from losing the coaches, Saleh, and then I know they lost one more. I'm blanking on his name, but Jamil, do you think
They lost Matt
think
LaFleur, the offensive coordinator. He went with Saleh to New York.
Yeah. Do you think they will be able to overcome losing them?
Yeah, I definitely think they will. Obviously, it's going to be tough, and we're going to learn a lot about this team in the beginning months of the season next year. But I think when you have a lot of talent like this, you know, if you can get a guy that can come in that's similar to the guys you brought in, that you still have a chance to compete at a high level. But like I said in the beginning of the video, you know, you have to name your coordinators to be good in this league. So now it's on Kyle Shanahan to replenish what he just lost and to keep this team going.
RJ, any dark horse for who you think will be their coordinators, or anyone you'd see fit?
I don't know if this guy wants to be a coordinator because I think he should be a head coach in the NFL. I don't think he should have got fired. But what if Doug Peterson came in and was the offensive coordinator with Kyle Shanahan? You want to talk about 2 offensive magicians? And if they had Deshaun Watson, like, it's a wrap. Like, I'm sorry, they're winning the Super Bowl and it's not close. As far as defensive coordinator, I don't really know what they want to do there. I know Wade Phillips wants to come out of retirement. He's like 75 years old. I don't know. That'd be an interesting one. That might be one of them deals where they just promote within.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking that they can do that. But you mentioned Doug Peterson. I was definitely surprised he got fired, and I honestly thought the Jets were going to really look at him when he got fired.
Somebody should have.
I definitely, but he'll definitely get a job next season when it starts.
Yeah, absolutely.
When the coaches start getting fired.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
And we'll wrap things up with the trade packages. Jamil, I'll start with you.
From the Niners, definitely going to be 2 to 3 first-round picks, probably 3, probably at least 2 second-round picks. I think that's definitely the starting point. When you have a team that's so good already, you know, you gotta get them for what it's worth. You know, like I just said, that there's no top 10 picks here, so no young quarterback either to send over unless they want to toss to Jimmy Garoppolo and the Texans want to take another chance on him.
RJ?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what a package should look like. But let's not forget, Deshaun Watson has a no trade clause. So Deshaun Watson can kind of determine where he goes. So the whole point of this, video was where should he go and stuff like that. The New York Jets, I can't find a reason why he would want to go there. Miami, of course, you want to hang out on South Beach, but I don't know that you're really in a better situation on offense than you are in Houston. Like Miami and Houston, it's kind of a lateral move. You didn't really move up. You just have a better defense and better coach now. San Francisco is perfect for football. But then you have to think about some of the non-football things. And I think we as sports fans always take the human element out of sports. Deshaun Watson is a Southern kid and he loves his family. Like, you're asking him to move to the complete other side of the country and be away from his mother, who he is very close with. I know she battled cancer. He is very tight with his mom. And now you're asking Deshaun Watson to live on the other side of the country from his mother. And you could say, well, just move your mom to San Francisco. With the high taxes in California and the homeless population that San Francisco has, I wouldn't want my mom to have to live in that, element. I understand he's making $100 million. He's not going to be living in the ghetto, but still, I don't think I'd want my mom to have to deal with some of, the taxes and the crime and the homeless population, all that California offers. So again, I'm going to circle back to it. There's one fit that's best on the field and off the field. He can stay close to home and have some weapons, and it's the same region that he was a college star. Come to Carolina.
See, if we're talking the human element, that's why I'm putting the Jets and the Dolphins at the front, because what athlete doesn't want to live in New York or Miami? They all
He doesn't
do.
need New York.
But they all want to live there. I'm telling you.
That's true.
He doesn't need it.
He doesn't need it, but they all want it.
Nah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yes, we will. And, where will Deshaun Watson land? We don't know, but look out for the Jets, the Panthers, the Dolphins, the Niners, and look out for us, because as soon as that Deshaun Watson news drops, wherever he goes, we will be there to break the news. The Deshaun Watson video coming out whenever he comes out and names which team he's going to. But for now, RJ Strope, Jamil King, I've been Matthew Perry. We've been the GMs for Hire, and we'll see you guys next time.